Good evening, I'm Camelia and this is KiniNews. Are you ready for GE15? It looks like a lot is happening behind the scenes to dissolve Parliament this week. According to an Umno leader who spoke to us, it appears Budget 2023 will have to wait. Umno President Ahmad Zahid Hamidi has hinted that Prime Minister Ismail Sabri Yaakob will seek to dissolve Parliament this week. This is according to an Umno Supreme Council member who spoke to Malaysia Kini on the condition of anonymity. He said this indicates that it is highly likely that the Prime Minister will seek an audience with the young di-Pertuan Agong to advise him to dissolve Parliament this Friday. In fact, the Umno leader did not rule out the possibility that the tabling of Budget 2023 would be delayed. He also told Malaysia Kini that based on his understanding, UMNO's top 5 have agreed on the date to dissolve Parliament. Yesterday, UMNO held a special meeting between Zahid, Ismail Sabri and 191 division leaders. At the press conference after the meeting, Zahid said while UMNO respects the authority to decide when to seek for a dissolution of Parliament, he hoped it had happened earlier this week.
Itu bukan kuasa hati. Kita menghormati kuasa Perdana Menteri. Bila pun kita menghormati seboleh-bolehnya semalam.
Meanwhile, sources also told Malaysia Kini that Zahid's speech at the briefing gave the impression that PAS will side with BN in GE15. Najib has been jailed in Kajang. However, fugitive Jolo isn't even in the country, and no one seems to know where he is. The IGP says the search is still on, but two journalists who have been following the 1MDB saga from the start say no one is actually looking for him. No one in Malaysia has actually asked China for the return of fugitive businessperson Jolo. This is according to journalists Tom Wright and Bradley Hope, citing a source familiar with the inner workings of the Chinese government. According to their source, this is because he is connected to too many powerful people in Malaysia who have not had their relationship with him exposed yet. He said despite what Malaysians hear publicly about the search for Low, nobody in Malaysia is actually seeking him. Hope said the explanation was that essentially there are too many powerful people in Malaysia connected to Jolo that haven't yet really been fully explored, the money they received, the relationship they have. The journalist said this in the 12.5-minute long video posted on YouTube today. Wright added that this revelation should make Malaysians extremely angry. The duo had previously launched a campaign to unravel more on Low right after former Prime Minister Najib Abdul Razak was jailed. They had previously received tip-offs that suggest Low had been laying low in China in recent years. In today's video, Hope claimed his source also told him that Low has a clear deal with Beijing for free movement and no interference from foreign countries while in China. Meanwhile, a senior cop has explained why Jolo's name is not viewable by the public on Interpol's wanted list. It's simply because he's not a threat to public safety. A senior police source has explained why the name of fugitive Jolo is not available for public viewing on Interpol's Red Notice website. He said this is because Jolo's crime is not deemed a threat to life or public safety. However, he assured that the Royal Malaysian Police is taking all efforts to track down Low and bring him back to face justice. Explaining further, he said there are two types of Interpol Red Notice. One lists down criminals wanted for crimes that are a threat to life and public safety. This is available for public viewing. However, the second list is of white-collar criminals. This list is only accessible by law enforcement in 195 Interpol member states. The senior officer refused to be named as he is not authorized to speak to the press on the issue. The officer was replying to a comment by Kepong MP Lim Lip Eng earlier today that Low's name was not listed on Interpol's Red Notice website. Will UMNO be charging into GE15 with PAS? If you ask party insiders, they tell you PAS is likely to abandon Bersatu to be with UMNO. UMNO leaders attending yesterday's special briefing were given a glimpse of the battle lines being drawn as the 15th general election draws near. Sources told Malaysia Kini that UMNO President Ahmad Zahid Hamidi's speech at the briefing gave the impression that PAS will side with BN. Earlier yesterday, UMNO's top brass held a special meeting with its 191 divisions and party wings at the World Trade Center, Kuala Lumpur. At a press conference after the meeting, Zahid urged PAS to sever ties with Perikatan Nasional soon if it wishes to continue cooperating with UMNO. The Bagan Dato' MP said PAS was aware of UMNO's condition and has been given a deadline to fulfill it. Meanwhile, another source who also attended the briefing corroborated that attendees at the special meeting were given the impression that PAS would be fighting alongside BN in GE15. And it appears UMNO already has a list of enemies they want voters to forget in GE15. And unsurprisingly, they're the top leaders of Harapan, Bersatu and Pejuang. UMNO Supreme Council member Syamsul Anwar Nasara has urged the rakyat to forget opposition figures like Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, Anwar Ibrahim and Muhyiddin Yassin. He said this is because only UMNO-BN politicians are capable of developing the country. He claimed that the trio mentioned above is the core reason for the political uncertainty in the country. According to him, although UMNO is an old party, it would field new faces in the political arena. He added that this was pledged by its president Ahmad Zahid Hamidi so that the country can move on into the new era. Syamsul, who is also BN Communications Chief, said the UMNO-BN's ability to bring about stability has been witnessed in the economic developments experienced by Malacca and Johor recently. Shafis has apologized for his media statement earlier this week. However, he maintains that he was accurate with what he said.
Najib Abdul Razak's lead defense counsel, Muhammad Shafi Abdullah, apologized for his media statement regarding the 1MDB corruption trial. However, the lawyer stressed that the press statement was accurate and with no exaggeration. Before the Kuala Lumpur High Court this morning, Shafi made this a response to the prosecution's warning over his press briefing that he did 2 days earlier. Yesterday, lead Deputy Public Prosecutor Gopal Sriram warned Shafi over the media statement which allegedly amounted to an attack on the prosecution. On Monday, Shafi made the claim in relation to the alleged Arab letters that purportedly promised donations to Najib between 2011 and 2012. The lawyer distributed a written media statement which contained an allegation that the prosecution failed to disclose or deliver to the defense particulars of the transactions.
Najib's daughter and the Inland Revenue have resolved a civil action against her. Here's more on that. The Inland Revenue Board and Noriana Najwa Najib have resolved the issue of the 10.3 million ringgit tax civil action against her. Noriana's counsel Muhammad Farhan Muhammad Shafi confirmed that the tax authority has withdrawn its related appeal before the Court of Appeal. The IRB was appealing against the Shah Alam High Court's decision on August 26, 2020 to deny the board's application for summary judgment against Noriana. Summary judgment is a judgment entered by a court for one party against another summarily without a full trial. If a summary judgment was allowed, Noriana would have been prevented from raising any defense against the civil action by the board to recover alleged tax arrears from her. When contacted by Malaysia Kini this morning, Farhan confirmed that IRB formally withdrew its appeal at the Court of Appeal. Noriana is the daughter of former Prime Minister Najib Abdul Razak. And now we have a sponsored segment brought to you by Air Selangor.
Klang Valley, with a combined population of 8.4 million, has made up 1/4 of the entire population of Malaysia. Have you ever wondered what is one of the biggest concerns among Klang Valley residents?
I was born and raised in Klang Valley, so the most annoying thing that I have to face is traffic because I work in PJ, so back and forth maybe it takes like 2 hours.
I would say that it's the frequent water disruption. It's really affecting me because sometimes I'm just unprepared.
Nowadays, because of monsoon season, I feel many experience flash flood because of heavy rain.
Boleh barang keperluan harian lah sebab setiap tahun dia akan meningkat harga.
For me, water disruptions has been a concern because it's been happening a few times in a year.
The electricity, dia ada effect sedikit lah, especially during at night. That one is troublesome, we cannot sleep.
Masalah gangguan air yang kalau berlaku tu sekali ke 2 kali setahun.
Water supply disruptions in the Klang Valley have affected the quality of life for consumers. Let's understand further why these situations are happening. There are two types of water supply disruption: scheduled and unscheduled. The scheduled water supply disruption is mainly for maintenance or facilities upgrading. Meanwhile, the unscheduled could be due to burst pipes, and the worst one would be raw water pollution. In the event of pollution, the water treatment plant is shut down until raw water is safe to be abstracted from its water source to be treated. To further understand this, we need to understand how clean water is treated from raw water sources until it reaches our taps. First, raw water will be extracted from natural sources and aerated to remove any unpleasant smell. Next is the coagulation process for dirt and removal of solids. The filtration process helps to remove microorganisms and impurities. Chlorine will be added to disinfect the water from bacteria and viruses. Lastly, clean and safe treated water is then distributed to consumers. Air Selangor works closely and collaborates with relevant authorities to ensure clean and safe water supply is provided to consumers. Raw water source is under the purview and regulated by Lembaga Urus Air Selangor Luas. Effluent discharge from legal factories is regulated by the Department of Environment (DOE). Water quality is monitored and regulated by Ministry of Health. Water supply and sewerage regulated by Suruhanjaya Perkhidmatan Air Negara (SPAN). Being the largest water service provider in Malaysia, Air Selangor strives to provide clean and safe treated water to consumers sustainably.
And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to KiniTV.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook for the latest news updates. If you'd like to support independent media, do consider subscribing to MalaysiaKini.com. I'm Camelia. Thanks for watching.